So I'm sitting here thinking about intuition, and I'm not gonna get into that. I was thinking about intuition, and yes, I'm recording a video. I was thinking I was thinking about intuition and how shit is hitting the fan, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty. And I was reflecting on different forms of weapons and how being educated in these areas, I wanted to share with my viewers. Because first and foremost, your intuition is your gifts. Your intuition is your first line of defense. That all the emotions that you've ever needed to feel, you felt. So now, a lot of people have been confused with their own inner, their own sensory perception. They believe that things that they feel and things that they encounter belong to them, and a lot of times it's people in their environment or the environment itself. And so people take it on as personal limitations. They take it on as depression. They take it on as anxiety. They take it on with all this empathic ability. A lot of people don't know how to use it. They don't understand their own from others in their environment. So it's being held onto and marinated in, and it doesn't even belong to them. So there's a lot of confusion, and they can never get to the bottom of it because it isn't their abyss to look into. So getting more of a grip on your own intuition, your own emotional health, knowing what is yours and what is not, identifying when those moments of sadness come on, what you're doing, what you're thinking, or whatever it is, what you're feeling, attach it to whatever you're thinking about, what it reminds you of, so you can get down to the bottom of it in order to handle it best. Because when the shit hits the fan and these emotions start to crop up, your gut instinct, your solar plexus and sacral chakras, and even your heart center, they work in tandem, and you will be able to feel certain things coming towards you and what it relates to once you start to understand those energy centers and what they represent. The third eye, the crown chakra, the star chakra, you have one in the back of the head. You have one that is above the head, a couple of inches. So even the throat chakra, there are times when you go to speak and you're unable to get the words out, or your throat suddenly gets dry or hoarse. Excuse me. That was an example. Your voice cracks in the middle of speaking something. It's a sensor. It's a line of defense to either tell you to keep your mouth shut, or this person doesn't need to hear this information. It is that movie with, I didn't see the movie, but the different emotions that were inside of a person, they each had a role. That is the same with you. So your first line of defense is your intuition. And offensively in life, you have these nuances, you have these synchronicities and such. And it's a roadmap. It's like a GPS, an inner guide that is showing you what to do, not what to do, where to apply your energy, or where to withdraw your energy from. Okay. So being equipped with, say, a pistol, And I don't know anybody's views on gun laws and all of that because, a gun is an inanimate object until it gets put into the hands of someone. And the intention of the person using it, or the education, the knowledge, the power of the person using it, puts the weapon in motion and causes the reaction. So if you are ill-equipped, if you are, have no education, no knowledge, you do not understand how to utilize a pistol, you could discharge that pistol onto an innocent bystander. There's accidents in the home all the time. Kids playing with them, even grown as adults. People who have learned, went to the military, still make mistakes. Their firearms go off and different shit like that. So it's not foolproof, but you can get better. You can hone your skill, because intuition is a skill, because you have to exercise it. You have to get better with it to go from little cap guns and little BB rifles and pew pew to marksmanship. Other forms of weapons and defense are what? Archery. Sagittarius comes to mind. Being able to have that bow and arrow, have a steady hand, being able to gauge the wind, keeping your eye on the target. This is a physical representation of what you're doing on a spirit level with your intuition. And so you will have to pass certain tests. You will have, and have been put to the test, are being put up against different things that you must maneuver, protect yourself from, protect others from. Fear is a shadow. It's your shadow. And so if you're ever out during the daylight and the sun's shining, you see it trailing behind you, and nothing you do will make it disappear. Acceptance of it, though, will make it a part of you that isn't a nuisance, isn't something to be afraid of, something you don't run from. It's not the monster underneath the bed or in the closet or anything like that. It's not separate from you. It's a part of you. And so you run from fear, and you should be running towards it. Punch that motherfucker in the face. Turn around and ask it, what the fuck do you want with me? Because the fear itself feeds off fear. It's like the Freddy Krueger effect. It's this Momo shit that they're spreading online. Somebody may not even know about it, may not have a fear of it, but an interest and intrigue, something's, their interest is picked, and now they can't get it off their mind. They go look at it, and now they have this fear attached to it, or this negative energy looming because they've allowed something to come onto them. And it'll attach to a fear you already have. It'll attach itself to your shadow. So a lot of the baggage that people are carrying are not within their light body. It's in the shadow. You have to start to unravel the shadow. It's so dense. It's so dark. It's blacker than black. That new material that scientists have come up with, that light won't even shine on it. You have to turn around and be the beacon that shines on it and start to pick it apart. Dissect this shit like you're in biology class. Like it's a fucking toad. You know what I mean? And really see what is feeding it. What fed it all this time? Why did something that was inanimate have such power over you? People are afraid of guns. But if a gun is just sitting there on the table and no one's touching it, it has no power. It has no power. None. So if you're dealing with people in your environment that can pick up on your shadow, or a trigger of yours, they will pull it and it will harm you because you've given the power of your shadow to someone who can misuse it and use your own weapon against you. Your shadow self is your twin flame. If you want to use that term, you turn around and you look it dead in its eye. They may not have no eyes, but just understand, like, you have to turn around, get into it, unravel that shit, dissect it, learn it, love it, breathe it, embrace it. It is you after all. And self-love and pampering yourself and, doing everything you can to avoid it doesn't make it disappear. And you can't say that you love yourself fully and completely until you too love your shadow, your weapon, and it's been used against you by you. So that's all I had to say. I'll see you guys soon.